Yeah, listen, you said is impactful. I would say was impactful.
Okay,
And I would
that's fair.
say that his impact was, hey, I'm at ESPN, and virtually anybody that's on ESPN during that time frame was impactful, particularly back when it wasn't for any and everybody. When before Mina Kimes, before Sarah Spain, before Pablo Torre and Bomani Jones, and just any and
Yeah,
everybody,
the woke
regardless of
brigade.
level of accomplishment. Yeah,
Right.
it's just like there used to be like, oh well, Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon, they were such accomplished journalists that they're on ESPN's platform, blah blah blah. Skip Bayless, early adopter, and it's like it said something significant about it. He's so good and so impactful. He's on ESPN. Next thing you know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is on ESPN. And oh, this person has a blog, or this person once wrote an article for some organization we have no idea, blah, blah, is now on ESPN. They're just blah, 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 blah. And so once that got diluted, and now people are having to stand on their own 2 feet. So to me, Skip struck while the fire was hot, and he rode that wave from being an early adopter and someone that got identified early. But Skip has never been a skilled or talented or even likable broadcaster or anyone that's really all that provocative beyond the fact his willingness to take on LeBron James, someone who got identified as, hey, don't criticize this person. And he took him on at a time when LeBron was actually far easier to defend than he is now. When LeBron was halfway likable and doing a lot of great things when Skip was trashing him, and that made him kind of interesting. But now, I don't, outside of corporate media, outside of the benefit of ESPN or Fox Sports saying, hey, you should listen to this guy. I don't know if Skip Bayless has anything impactful to say or provocative or even interesting to say off of those platforms. And so, to me, this was inevitable and 7 years, 8 years in the making that it was going to crash and burn this way. Then, let's say, 64-year-old white guy to now 71-year-old white guy trying to pass himself off as part of the hip hop culture, that was unsustainable. That was and Shannon, again, what he should have realized is like, wow, based on the lane and brand that I've chosen, Shannon's carrying me. I can't be in this hip hop lane because when he was with Stephen A. Smith, it was less of a hip hop lane and it was more, hey, these are two newspaper journalists. He came over to FS1 and partnered with a non-journalist, an athlete, and they turned it into a hip hop show. And an old white guy is the face of a hip hop show. That I can't believe the death took this long. And to me, it's why the peak of it was never that high, despite all the promotion and all the work they did trying to hype him up. They topped out averaging 220,000 viewers. And then as soon as they removed the pin, Shannon Sharpe, they started getting 40 and 50,000 viewers. It's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, Jay.
Yeah, I don't like this dude. I don't like him at all. Y'all already know about this. I've talked about it several times. I even have a playlist roasting and going off on this fat bastard. But the fat bastard is absolutely right, man. He's spitting figgity facts. The fat bastard is spitting facts. Like this video as y'all come in. Appreciate y'all for spending the time with me. I like the analysis. I like the way that he described it. It was succinct. It was accurate. There were some disagreements I have. Namely, the fact that, a person like, Skip Bayless was never really a star, was not sustainable. No, I disagree with some of that. Skip Bayless was a star. Okay? Skip Bayless was a star. Now, the fact that somebody's a star doesn't mean they're liked, doesn't mean that they're quote unquote well received, right? Donald Trump is a star, but more than half of the country of the United States dislikes him or outwardly hates him. He's still a star, right? Just because you're the villain doesn't make you not a star. When we're watching Batman, okay, we want to also see the Joker. We don't just want to see Bruce Wayne whooping on people. No, we want to see somebody who can match him, in terms of craziness, in terms of intellect, in terms of all that. We want to see a villain. Okay? What made Infinity Wars and Endgame so good in terms of Marvel movies? Very, very simple. They had Thanos. That was really the star of the whole thing. Thanos was the star of that Avengers Endgame, and Infinity Wars saga. It was Thanos. Okay, whether you liked him or not, you were there watching the movie for 3+ hours. Yes, long as hell, because you wanted to see what the villain would do and how they would do it. That's exactly what Skip Bayless is in this analogy. Skip Bayless is somebody who found a lane, who decided to embrace debate, and worked with Stephen A. Smith. That was the prime, that was the apex, right? And decided to go and use very controversial topics, troll topics, in order to push his agenda and irritate, his debate partner into dunking on him, whether he was doing this consciously or not. Example, when he was deriding Tim Tebow, everybody and their grandmother knew that Tim Tebow wasn't him. But Skip Bayless, in his insane logic and troll ways, decided, I'm going to deride Tim Tebow. Did it work? Absolutely worked, because they were on ESPN2, and then they went to the main ESPN spot because they were starting to get ratings. Why was it getting ratings? Because Stephen A. would absolutely crush Skip on that topic. And it was controversial and it was topical. And Tim Tebow, at a certain time, was one of the most controversial football players in the entire world. Then he started deriding Johnny Manziel, another controversial figure. And obviously, endlessly deriding the Dallas Cowboys, right? The Dallas Cowboys have not made an NFC championship game in almost 30 years. Yes, literally when I was inside my mama's stomach, that was the last time they made an NFC championship game. But guess who is always over there caping and trolling for them? Skip Bayless. He is the biggest cowboy derider in mainstream media. Now, why is that? Because it gets ratings, it gets views, it gets the people going, it's topical, it's conversational. And obviously, the biggest one is his LeBron hate, or as some people say, criticism. What do you think that leads to? That leads to conversation. That leads to people, getting mad, commenting, and watching. So what happened was, when he partnered up with Shannon Sharpe, it wasn't so evident at first, but when Shannon got comfortable and Shannon was being a lot more of himself, or you can argue Shannon decided to play a character too, right, to counteract Skip Bayless, he became the star, meaning Shannon became the star, because the clear villain was Skip. You had a very fun, interesting narrative, but unfortunately, over time, it started to get boring. And what Skip did, decided to turn it up. Another narrative that Skip always did was the Tom Brady derider. And that did him in, because Skip Bayless kept on roasting and disrespecting Shannon, and you reach a certain level of disrespect where ain't no coming back. G. You can't disrespect people and expect them to treat you the same, man. There's levels of disrespect that you cannot come back from, and that's what happened, right? Like Fat Bastard said, you can disrespect somebody to a certain point, and there's no coming back after that. And that's what happened. And Skip, in his infinite arrogance, didn't realize that you piss off the right one, you're going to have the wrong results. Man, let me say that again. That was a bar. You piss off the right one, you're going to have bad results. If you're still watching this video, get in the comments and tell me that's not a bar. If you piss off the right one, you're going to have wrong results. Thus, he got fired from Undisputed after 8 years. 8 years of a lot of highlights, of a lot of fun sports debates. Never capped out over 200,000 viewers, which is not great numbers. But as soon as the star left, meaning Shannon Sharpe, guess what happened? 50,000 views. YouTubers are doing more than that per video. It's like what? Yes, on an average video. But let me know how y'all feel about it, man. Fat Bastard was absolutely right. Great analysis. I'm giving him props where it's due. Big J TV, I'm out.